Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Kate, and I'm here today to discuss Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 135. Okay, so y'all, this was I don't think this would be a filler episode, but I really feel like it was setting up a lot of plots. And it's just so crazy, right? How the girls ended up meeting up at the country club and they cracked the code. Don't you hate when you know something going on and then people who are involved in the plot on the show start to figure it out, but then it's just like, it's nowhere near like them actually busting the person. Like, I know Hayley not about to get busted no time soon, but it's just the fact that like Kat hit the nail on the head, and it would be Kat, you know, with her murder mysteries that she listens to on podcasts, to be the one to figure it all out, right? So I'm just gonna start with the biggest thing. Chelsea and Naomi were having a meetup at the coffee place, which I still don't know the name of. And so they were talking, and so they were trying to figure out how they were gonna like manipulate Bill in order to get him to go back to the hospital and get his follow-up checkups, because Bill has been ignoring Madison. Mind you, we saw Bill sitting on the couch contemplating calling Madison. So I'm just like, Bill, if you having flashbacks of your hand trembling, and honestly, I think Bill is scared after that conversation that Bill had with Vernon, plus the additional encounter of Bill falling out. Y'all remember Bill fell out a couple days in his office, and then he woke up, he was in the middle of the floor, right? I think that really is what did it. And he's been wanting to go back to the hospital and like check on himself ever since, but he's been scared because, as we know, he has a phobia of going to the doctor. But so Chelsea and Naomi was trying to plot and scheme a way of how they get their daddy to go back. So Chelsea was going to be the one to sweet talk him, and then Naomi was going to be the one to try to throw in the logic. That way he could kind of like play on him a little bit, because they said they used to do this when they was younger and it used to work. So they was trying to scheme or whatever. And so when they finally show up to the house, Bill and Hayley had just had a conversation about, you know, him going to the doctor. But then Hayley had just told him, he was like, you don't need to go to the doctor because Madison ain't finding nothing. You keep going up there and she ain't finding nothing. But the only reason why she can't keep finding it is because y'all keep leaving. And so, of course, it's part of Hayley's plan to off Bill. So, of course, she's sitting there with that little evil smirk. And I was just like, oh, my God, y'all. That lady is just evil. That lady is evil. And it's crazy because all of this could have been avoided had Bill just stayed with Danny. But because Bill decided to, you know, stray. And then it's the fact that they plotted on Bill, you know, because we found out a couple episodes ago that Randy and Hayley had intentionally plotted on Bill. And then Hayley intentionally, you know, used Naomi to do it. And it's the fact that even came up. Naomi even said that she think that Hayley plotted on her to get information on her daddy so that she could ruin him and Danny's marriage. I was like, girl, you hit the nail on the head, because you was the mole. You was the mole and you didn't even know it. You was the mole and you didn't even know it. And then you told all your mama business, thinking you was venting to her, getting all your feelings out, girl. And she used all the information against you to get and plot your daddy, because your daddy got that $10 million life insurance policy. Ooh wee. So anyway, so Chelsea and Naomi end up showing up to the house, right? And they start talking to Bill. You know, first of all, they just barge in thinking, okay, it's my daddy's house. I don't really got to knock. I don't really got to say I'm coming. I can just pop up because it's my daddy, right? So they just pop up to their daddy's house and they start talking to him. And then Hayley starts interjecting. And then they start getting into it, y'all, right? And so Bill is just standing there, and you can clearly tell he's uncomfortable. But you also can tell, like, at the end of the day, that's his wife, and he don't want to choose his wife over his children. But this is their home. So, child, he ended up putting Chelsea and Naomi out. And they couldn't believe nothing. They couldn't believe it. And as bad as Bill didn't want to do it, because Hayley is his wife, he had to side with his wife, right? But, of course, he also didn't want to get his wife together in front of his daughters. That's another thing, because then that would have been a whole nother thing if he would have did it in front of them, because Hayley would have lost it. So, he ends up putting them out, right? And so they're teed off. Now, mind you, I seen some discourse on I see some discourse. My cousins was not pleased yesterday because they felt like, y'all felt like Kat was there to support Naomi and Chelsea, but they necessarily won't support her to her. That's a sticky subject for me. I just don't even want to even go into that. But I saw it and I thought it was funny. But moving on, and then they go to the country club and they was just talking about it, right? They was talking about it and they run into Kat, mind you. Kat is leaving. She just had her breakfast with Martin, mind you. Sidebar, I love the fact that the siblings got to spend time together with each other this episode, because we always get Danny and Nicole spending time together and having brunch together, but we never really get Martin and Kat having time together, like one-on-one brother sister time. And we're getting Naomi and Chelsea now, and I love it because I like to see the dynamic of the two, and then I like to see the cousins actually come together. But yeah, so they start telling Kat the story. So next thing you know, Kat done sat down, and they done sat down, and they giving Kat the rundown on everything that happened, right? So then that's y'all know, once y'all start saying something to Kat about any kind of mystery, any kind of evidence, any type of legal case, anything, her gears get to running, and her gears got to running. She started typing stuff down in her evidence app because she said she wanted to make sure everything is in order. I'm just like, my God, when they present their case. Naomi told him that, you know, there was an instance where Bill was choking and Hayley was watching him. And y'all remember that, because I was so mad, because I was just like, oh my God, that girl finna let that man perish in this law office and all these people is around. And then Naomi walked in and was like, girl, why you not doing nothing? Not knowing that, you know, Hayley purposefully planned for him to choke and to croak right there. Then Hayley ends up telling Naomi that, you know, of course, that she was too stunned to do anything. She just couldn't believe it all happened so fast. Right. And so then she also tells Chelsea and Kat that, you know, there were times where, Chelsea said that there was a time where her and Madison caught Hayley out with Randy. And y'all know Hayley and Randy be meeting up like on a weekly basis, sometimes multiple times a week, to discuss this plan with Bill. And it's a wonder that, you know, Hayley and Randy ain't got caught by nobody else no other time, because they just be out in the public all the time. And so then this is when Naomi finally comes forward and tells somebody besides, because, you know, only her and Ashley know, because Ashley kind of, you know, like told a little bit or led her to the water, that, you know, Hayley possibly lied about her whole pregnancy and that it was all a lie, and that the miscarriage was a lie, the ultrasound was a lie, everything. And of course, back then when Naomi first found out that the ultrasound was fake, I thought that she was going to bust Hayley right then, but because Hayley said that she was grieving the first miscarriage and Bill was so excited and that she had lost it, she didn't want to tell Bill because she knew Bill was going to be disappointed, and Naomi went along with it. But now as they starting to talk, I think they all starting to figure out that all these things are lies, just like how they was all meeting up and talking about Hayley and Lynette, and how all these different stories was told to all these different people. And so everybody started to catch on, y'all. They starting to catch on with the lie. Now, it's probably going to be a good while before Hayley get busted. But it is the fact that now that this occurrence has happened, with her kicking them out of the house, and then the whole situation with Lynette and them trying to figure out the plasma ring, and how Hayley had something to do with Lynette, everybody started to throw their stories together. Then, of course, Danny shows up to the country club, and she runs into Kat, Naomi, and Chelsea. And then Kat and Naomi tell Danny that Bill threw them out the house. And of course, they know now that Danny has found it out. Danny is about to turn into the lioness that she is. And she gonna end up going over there and confronting Bill and saying something to Bill about, how dare you throw your daughters out? How dare you pick that heifer over her children? Ooh, Lord, it's about to be something. Danny is about to rain down fire. Danny's about to rain down fire. That's exactly what's about to happen. Because y'all know she don't play. She play about a lot of things, but she do not play about them two children. Speaking of children, during Martin and Kat's brunch, Martin asked Kat what was her and Smitty talking about at the party. I'm just like, dang, Martin. She can't just talk to her brother-in-law? That can't be cool? I mean, you and him have been together for a minute, so that's dang near like her brother for real, so she can't talk to her brother. But Kat ends up telling him that they were talking about a case. And so he was just like, oh, well, I ain't going to ask him more questions because I know how touchy Smitty is about his work. Yeah. That's one thing I guess Martin has learned or respected about Smitty. Smitty hasn't necessarily done that for Martin, but Martin is doing it for Smitty. Well, I guess Smitty has done it for Martin too, because he said that, you know, he understands the whole thing with the election and the primary and everything. So yeah, I guess so. What else? Ted and Andre have a meetup. Ted and Andre have a meetup in Ted's office again. And I was like, okay, this is the one time Ted and Andre are in the office uninterrupted. Shanice stayed in her rightful place, which is at that front desk where she's supposed to be because she's the charge nurse. And I was just like, okay, uninterrupted. But Ted is going on and on and on and on about the escapades and all the things that he wanted to do with Shanice while they're in New York. And then he has this whole itinerary of plans, you know, of things that they want to, excursions and all this stuff that they want to do, right? And so in the middle of Ted talking, Ted says something, triggers Andre. He completely zones out. Ted has to bring him back to reality. And he was just like, hey, where'd you go? Are you okay? You got something on your mind you want to tell me? And so then, right when Ted's phone rings, Andre tries to leave because he don't want to tell him. And so I'm just like, well, Andre, you just came here the other day trying to spill your heart to Ted. Now you got your golden opportunity. Now you don't want to say nothing. And so then Ted was like, well, speak your mind. What's on your mind? And I was just like, dag nabbit. There's another time where we were about to find out the tea. Second time this week, we was about to find out what's going on with Andre. Andre ain't say nothing. He just told him what wine he should choose. And I'm like, doggone Andre, are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, for real? So then, Ted walks out, Andre walks out there at the front desk talking. And, of course, Shanice is out there, or Kyle comes out. It was just a whole thing. We're going to get to Kyle, but, you know, Shanice was talking to Kyle or whatever, because as we know, Shanice and Kyle is homeboy and homegirl. And they was telling about how, you know, Shanice is all in love with Ted. I said, Lord, if this L word come out Shanice and Ted mouth one more time during this episode, I'm going to scream. I don't care nothing about y'all. And so they was talking about how they was in love. And so Kyle ends up saying, well, you know, him and Nicole are not in love and that they have an understanding about exclusivity and all this other stuff. How they don't want to be exclusive. But now I think the tide is starting to change for Kyle. Because Kyle is starting to spend a lot of time with Nicole. And who else? Somebody said that Shanice said that he's not supposed to be in the DMV. He was supposed to be in Dallas, but then he said he rearranged all his appointments with his people in Dallas and he's staying in the DMV longer. And so they was like, ooh, Kyle, you trying to put down roots and everything. And he also, come to find out, did invite Nicole to his calendar. So I'm just like, so she can know where he is and all his free time and all the stuff like that. So I'm just like, oh, Kyle. Oh. Kyle gonna get his heart broke. I hate that for Kyle so much. Kyle gonna get his heart broke. That's gonna be the end of that. Then he gonna end up going right back to Dallas or wherever it is he came from. Cause he was like, oh yeah, I need to talk to Shanice about our patients. We need to talk about the PT appointments and all this, all that, right? So then Ted comes around, y'all. Ted comes around and Martin is there because Martin is looking for Kyle, right? Because as you know, the other day, Smitty tore his ankle up at the country club trying to play pickleball with that old man. That old man ate him up, tore his ankles up. And so he was trying to, you know, Martin was trying to give Kyle some Washington Nationals hockey tickets so him and his son could go to the game because Nicole told him how he loved. So that was his little kind gesture of trying to pay it forward and to thank Kyle for his services. And now he done came to this to find out all that tea and Ted bumped into. So Mark ends up pulling his head and was like, how are you feeling? It couldn't have been easy to hear their mom is, getting serious with Kyle or whatever like that. And so Ted plays the goose. He was like, me and your mother are friends. It's not like that. I'm happy for her. I'm saying I'm in love with Shanice. I'm moving on with Shanice. Shanice is my lady. I was like, good answer, Ted. Good answer. But we all know all of this finna fall apart. Ted and Shanice probably ain't gonna end up going to New York for real. And then it was the fact that during Kat and Martin's conversation, Kat said there was a tiny smidget of hope that, she hopes that her parents can make it work and get back together, because Martin and Kat definitely talked about their parents getting into serious relationships or whatever like that. And what if they decide to get married again, both of them? Oh, excuse me. Decide to get married again. And so then I'm just like, now that you mention, it's interesting that this conversation has come up. And so now fast forward to this little death scene, which I'm just like, this the second time in a week that y'all done had this death scene where y'all was up here spilling tea and then people end up overhearing it. I need for this front desk to stop turning to that watering hole, and y'all think y'all can have hot gosh cheese made up here at this desk, and think other people don't hear you because we hear everything y'all be saying. Just want to let y'all know, in case y'all was wondering. What else? Oh, of course, Danny is trying to get in contact with Nicole, but Nicole is not answering her phone. Come to find out Nicole is dead. Danny done showed up to Nicole's house because, all of them got a key to each other's house. And so she done showed up to Nicole's house, and she done walked in the room, and Nicole and Kyle was doing the tango, and Danny walked in, and Danny done invited her, Shapiro invited herself in. She done sat at the foot of the bed, and I was like, now Danny, your sister told you to get out, and you still trying to stay? Danny saying, I came over here to have a serious talk with my sister, but my sister is over here being Stella. Her sister's over there being Stella. She tried to have a conversation with her. She can't even get her on the line because she over there so busy being Stella that her phone is dead and off. And can't nobody get in contact with her. So she thought, she just went over there to make sure her sister wasn't over there laid out in the middle of the floor. And her sister was over there becoming Stella. Oh, Lord. But yeah. So eventually, Danny gets out the room. Kyle gets up, get in the shower. Then Nicole, talks to Danny. But Danny was like, I'm going to stick around, so she can get dressed and get in the shower and everything like that. And so, while they're there, Danny ends up telling Nicole that she was just like, things seem to be getting serious with you and Kyle. Do I need to have that? What are your intentions talk with Kyle? The same way I did with Carlton. And so I'm just like, it's just the way Carlton just is not around. They must be filming Divorce Sisters because Carlton's not around. Carlton, where are you at, gang? We ain't seen you at the hospital. Do you have any appointments or anything? What is going on? But anyway, so Carlton is not there. We ain't seen Carlton. # where's Waldo? Where's Carlton? And Danny is saying, do I need to have what's the intentions talk with Kyle? And so now that, it seems like Nicole has subconsciously chosen Kyle and has just thrown Carlton to the wolves. Nicole insists on nothing is going on. Everything is still fine between her and Carlton and her and Kyle, and that she hasn't chosen anybody, and that she has told both of them that she don't want to be exclusive, that she just want to have fun, and that she's not ready to use the L word yet. She's not ready to open up to nobody. She's not ready to be in no serious relationship. She just wants to just be grown. And so Danny was like, well, I hear what you're saying, but, okay, cool, whatever, like that. And so then Danny ends up asking Nicole, how can she better support Naomi through her decision, because she says she's struggling having support for Naomi and supporting Naomi, but she also don't want to say the wrong thing, because even though she don't agree with Naomi's decision, she still wants to be there for Naomi and love on Naomi and show Naomi that she cares. And so Nicole gives her advice about that. And then they both leave, whatever. And that's when, of course, Danny heads to the country club. And that's where she runs into Chelsea, Naomi, and Kat. I say rich people, they just be out just gallivanting all throughout the day, because they clearly said that was afternoon. Ain't none of them been to work that whole day. They always just out gallivanting in the city, just, eating high-priced meals and not being at work. Must be nice. But nonetheless, So yeah, y'all, I'm trying to think, is there anything else important that I need to bring up? I was hoping that during that conversation with Danny and Nicole, that Danny was going to tell Nicole of her entanglement with Bill on that elevator, but that's not what happened. And I really thought that was what was going to happen, but that's not what's going to happen. But guess what? When Nicole finally finds out what happened on the elevator, ooh-wee. And then once, Danny and Naomi and Chelsea and Kat start canoodling and telling Danny what happened at that house, ooh, today's episode probably gonna be real juicy unless they skip it and wait till Monday. But my God, on today, I can't wait, and I'm ready for Danny. How long we gonna have to wait before Danny come clean with Andre? And how long we gonna have to wait before this whole thing with Andre come clean? Because this is the second time. This is the second time it's been brought up, and I need to know what's going on. So please, how long are we gonna have to wait for both? I'm ready for Hayley to get busted. I'm ready for Andre's secret to come out, and I'm ready for Danny to tell what happened with her and Bill. Because the children even said it, that Hayley is just trying to isolate Bill off because I think she's starting to get jealous because she knows that Danny is the orbit. She the sun, moon, and stars, and she the head of Bill orbit. And now she's starting to feel like she threatening, all this and all that. I was like, well, you're not wrong. So yeah, y'all, what do y'all think about episode 135? Leave me your comments down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, if you missed out on my other reviews from episodes from this week, be sure to click the playlist and catch up, girl. We need to chat. What do y'all think about this week's episodes? Also, I am reviewing All American, the last season All American. If you're watching All American, you can also go to my playlist tab on my YouTube channel and catch up on the 4 episodes there. And also, if you are binge watching The Chi and you are now watching The Chi because The Chi is officially over, don't forget to check out my Chi Season 8 playlist where I discuss all the episodes there as well. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back with more videos. Deuces.